We've just dynoed the Z3M and it's made a very healthy 319 horsepower. We are now going to fit a set of Supersprint manifolds and evolve ECU tune and see how much power we can get out of this S54 engine. The next thing we're going to add to the car are these beautiful Supersprint right-hand drive manifolds, or if you're in America, headers. These ones are the second version Supersprint made. They will fit the right-hand drive E46 M3. It's what they're called their step design, so you can see it's got a step up here to aid gas flow. Supersprint are very good friends of ours. We have done a factory tour. If you haven't seen it, we'll put a link up here so you can check that video out. Evolve has been a Supersprint dealer for around 15 years and we've then become a distributor for around 10 years. So we have a very good relationship with them, and that's why you see us putting a lot of their parts on our cars. They've been around since 1950s. They know exactly what they're doing. They're very consistent with their production. The car already has Supersprint rear exhaust, as you've probably seen the video before, and these are to add a little bit more power. I'm not expecting a massive difference because the stock ones are made so well. The Supersprint have managed to improve them a little bit. I haven't actually done a back-to-back dyno with just adding these, so I'm really interested to see the results. With the dyno runs taken care of, let's take a look at the results. So we can see the car in stock form was making 319 horsepower, and with the Supersprint headers it's making 330, but what's more important is the amount of power it's making throughout the rev range. So that is typical of Supersprint stepped headers on an S54 engine. We do generally see around 10 horsepower and 10 foot-pound of torque throughout the whole rev range. I've never actually tested a set on a right-hand drive S54 M Coupe, and it's made a little bit more low end than we normally see, but there was quite a long gap between us dyno testing the car stock and then dynoing it again with the headers, but the top end power is typical of what we're used to seeing. The grey line is then with our ECU tune, and that's made 348 horsepower. You can see we have raised the rev limiter quite a lot because these have an artificially shortened RPM range. BMW at the time said it was something to do with the bearing shells, but I think it was just so it wasn't as fast as the E46 M3, and we know it's perfectly safe to run the S54 at that RPM range because we've been doing it for many years. So overall, that's a really good gain from two modifications. We do have the airbox left to do on this car. I'm not expecting a massive gain on those. Normally when we test them in isolation, they're either around 5 or 10 horsepower more than what we would have here. But let's get the car on the road and see how it drives. You join me back in the car, and although there's a very slight difference to the exhaust note, what I can really feel is the difference in power. With the headers and the tune, there's a lot more power in the mid-range, and as the revs climb, it just pulls a lot harder than it did before. So remember, these headers haven't been tried on a right-hand drive S54 M Coupe, and we did have to modify them quite a bit to get them to fit. That is not going to be a problem on a left-hand drive car, and the gains that we got are what you would get on a left-hand drive car because the manifold design is pretty much identical apart from the modifications we had to make. I am going to send these ones back to Supersprint once we take them off the car with some photographs of how they are mounted on the car, so if they want they can make a set that will fit. But to be honest, there's probably less than 200 right-hand drive S54 M Coupes in the world, so I'm not sure whether they will, but I'll speak to them and see what they say. The next stage for this car is to actually return the car back to standard manifold and then show the similar upgrade but with the carbon airbox, because that's going to be a much more common modification for people. Because if I was doing modifications to this car to get power and sound and enhance the driving experience, I would most likely go for the airbox and tune combination first, and if I wasn't completely satisfied with that, I would then add the headers. We just did it this way round just to show the difference that the headers make. I have driven quite a few S54 cars with carbon airbox, including our CSL. So CSL sound in this car is going to be pretty special. That's it for now. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.